Stephen A. Smith, ESPN First Take host, has had a lot of things to say about LeBron James. And can we bring up, do you have the original? This is what Stephen A. said. Was this about a month ago, Marvin? What was it?
January 29th.
Okay, so January 29th, Stephen A. said this on his show on First Take.
I'm really, really trying to be as respectful as I possibly can be towards LeBron James. One of the top 2 or 3 players in the history of basketball, number 2 in my eyes. A treasure to the game of basketball that we should and will all miss when he is gone. I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this.
Okay, he's referring to Bronny being out on the floor against the 76ers, and Tyrese Maxey embarrassed him. Truly embarrassed him. I don't know why Stephen A. has to give us the resume of LeBron. I thought that was kind of blabbering. Just get to the point. You're bothered by LeBron that he put his son in this situation where he's getting embarrassed on TV. Yes, Paulie.
Yeah, and it feels like Stephen A., and he referenced it the other day when he recapped this, he was talking about the entire past year as well, the efforts to get Bronny James on the Lakers, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. So Stephen A. was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, Gil's Arena, and had this to say about a run-in with LeBron on the sidelines recently, and Stephen A. was asked about that.
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bull.
Okay. First of all, it's not weak, because weak would have been tweeting something out. He confronted you. So that's not weak. He didn't push him or anything. There were words exchanged. And then Stephen A. had this to say about LeBron James.
You said my son. No, I wasn't. I was talking about you. I was talking about you. Wasn't about your son. I know he's number 55. I know he got work to do. Woo. I believe that he got potential. Yeah. I believe that he got the potential to go pro. I truly believe that. It's going to be tough, but I think he could pull it off. And by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody, but I was talking about your ass. You did this. Mm-hmm. You the one that had us as reporters, as a league, as an NBA franchise. All of us got to sit back and be quiet and capitulate to your.
Okay. So Stephen A. he's all fired up. Talking about LeBron the father, and what he did to his son to get him on the Lakers. It's not like LeBron sent his son to Afghanistan. His son is on the Lakers, acting like he's the 55th player drafted. He's a bench player. He goes back and forth to the G League. And, oh, by the way, how many guys have been embarrassed by Tyrese Maxey in an NBA game? Quite a few. It just felt it felt like it was over and above what needed to be said. We all understand. Bronny's not going to be in the league when LeBron retires. He's just not good enough to play. He can be a G League guy. Should have stayed another year at USC, but his dad is probably saying, I don't know how much longer I'm going to play. I want to play with you. This has been his goal. He was able to pull strings, and he was able to make this happen. People had a problem with that. A son wanting to play with his father, I'm going to use, all my cachet, and he was able to do that. He wants to be around his son. By all accounts, his son was raised properly and seems like a really, really good kid. But when you start talking about somebody's parenting, like that's where it felt like it was, if I'm LeBron, that's a trigger point where you're like, okay, now you're questioning me as a father. That would be the problem that I would have with this. And he's saying it in such a dramatic way. It'll fall off. I mean, come on. Bronny's doing okay. I'm going to get his ass kicked a little bit. So what? Do I blame J.J. Redick for putting him out there? Do I say to LeBron, I don't want him out there on Tyrese Maxey? There's culpability here. There's blame to go around. But, Stephen A. showing up and LeBron is going to say something to you in person. That's not weak. Weak would have been tweeting it out or having somebody from your management company, your agency, reach out to Stephen A. But we make it seem, and I brought this up, I don't know, did Stephen A. say to Michael Jordan, I'm pleading with you, be a better father. Your son got pulled over for driving under the influence, and he's a 30-year-old man? No, he didn't. Is LeBron, I mean, is this, bad parenting? Yeah, Paul.
I'm okay with Stephen A. critiquing LeBron's basketball decisions, and one of his basketball decisions was working the Lakers to get them to add his son to the roster. So as long as it stays in that lane of we're critiquing a sports move here or a sports decision, which I think he is, that word father, I bet you bothered LeBron a lot, just like you said. But if he said LeBron made a mistake and shouldn't be using his influence to change a Laker roster for an inferior player,
yeah,
a lot of people have said that. Wouldn't be the first.
And I agree with that. LeBron was going to put an inferior product on the bench, maybe playing in games. Now, he's not going to be playing in important games, but somebody lost their spot because Bronny's going to be on the bench. Bronny, and I got to see him in the limited time at USC, and he was nowhere near the best player on his own team. The G League, he's had a couple of moments there. He's just not ready for this. LeBron wants him to be able, he wants to be able to play with him. I understand that. He wants to be around his son. There are worse things. Did he use, his power? Yes, he did. I mean, parents do that all the time. You might try to help them get into USC. Hypothetically, you might try to help your kids get into USC. Now, the father part of it, that's what would be the trigger for LeBron James. Yes, Marvin.
Yeah, night one when they did the whole playing together thing, I was kind of thrown off by that. But now, Bronny's doing what the 55th pick in the NBA draft, he's doing what they do. Playing really good basketball in the G League and sitting the bench in the NBA. So he's doing what the 55th pick does. It's not like he was the 17th pick and Dalton Connect was there. He's the 55th pick. Name another 55th pick. I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people expected. Should he have been the 55th pick? You can make an argument, no, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have been drafted. Yes, Heaton.
There are a lot of truly terrible fathers in the world who do awful, awful, awful things. I would imagine getting your son into the NBA to play for the Lakers is probably pretty far down on the list of horrible things you could do as a father. I mean, as a father, you've got to stop doing this. What? He's playing for the Lakers. How?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's really crappy parenting.
He got it. Okay, if he didn't get embarrassed by Tyrese Maxey, would Stephen A. have said this? Because I watched it, and yes, Bronny had no business out there. But Tyrese Maxey is one of the top 20 players in the game. Bronny is at the end of the bench. Should he have been out there? No. Did LeBron say to J.J. Redick, hey, can you put him out there? Then I have a problem with it. J.J. Redick's got to run a team. He's not running LeBron's team. You've got to prove that this is your team. And if you put him in because Bron said, put in my son, then I have a problem with that. Yes, Mark.
I do remember that post game after that game. J.J. Redick, Bronny had a couple of good games. He said, let me just put him out there to see what he can do. I said, the South Bay Lakers, that's a whole different animal than Tyrese Maxey.
Yes.
He wasn't playing nobody this good.
No. But I don't think this makes him a bad parent. It may make his basketball decisions questionable because this is putting an inferior product out there while you guys were struggling at the time. Or we didn't know how good the Lakers were going to be. Yes, Todd.
But if you're not dramatic and viral about it and making a whole big deal about it, the whole thing, he could have easily said, there's a million ways you could say, talk about nepotism. What is Bronny doing out there? And then you move on to 50 other stories. But when you say it in that dramatic flair, then all of a sudden this is such a big deal.
Well, no, Stephen A's an entertainer. Let's make no mistake about it. That's what this is. He's entertaining people. If he would have said, you can't put him out there, Tyrese Maxey, totally toasted him, and then you move on to something else, then nobody cares. But to say it in a breathless way, that's the entertainer. Yeah, Paul.
I did go back and look at the draft, to be fair, and the Lakers, taking Bronny at 55, they passed on Ulrich Komachi, who's averaging 0.7 points per game for Memphis. Big mistake by them.
But is his dad on the Memphis team?
I am checking.
Okay, see if he's on
Mr.
it.
Comanche.
Yeah, to you. Yes, he.
Plus, if you look at the Lakers roster, they have 24 players listed, and in terms of like minutes, average minutes, say Bronny is 23rd out of 24th.
Yes.
So, I mean, come on.
Wait,
he's not starting. He's not.
who's
Who's
24th in minutes on the Laker bench?
Maxwell Lewis? Forward.
Wow.
Good Max.
He got jobbed.
Yeah, well, his dad's not good enough to be in the NBA, so he gets some playing time. Got to get my son in. Can Maxie get some run here? I think I got to be a little bit more breathless when I deliver things like that. That's how you go viral.
So as a father,
As a father.
I know you didn't talk about me as a father.
Yeah, no. Marvin, you can't say that
Which is better as a father?
about your dad.
Getting your kid to play for the Lakers or completely ignoring that they exist publicly?
Whole question.
Woo. He didn't say like he was on drugs or anything.
No, Bronny's a good kid.
Yeah.
You know?
That GOAT son isn't on. Never mind.